Hello, hello, hello. This is Marto again. Today we have one of the top two players, not top two, but the top two finalists for the Plasma Crystal Cup. We have Sergio Martin. How you doing, Sergio?
Pleasure. All good. How about yourself?
So he's going to give us a breakdown of his deck, and might give us information of why he used certain cards. But you can start, Martin.
All right. So the idea behind the deck is just to be able to swing wide with like small teams. So I do use the Comicos. They're good to be able to search for strategies. The deck really needs to be able to cycle a lot, so that really does allow you to try to get those strategies to be able to do so, and also throw things on the discard so you have targets for view. I unfortunately I was supposed to bring three Richies. It's an important engine. It allows you to kind of look for the specific dragon that you need to be able to transform and get yourself out of pinches and stuff like that. Sasaki would be kind of the main guy on the deck, and I run three of him. That kind of allows me to be very aggro. I don't try to deck out people by discard. I discard to be able to trigger him mostly, and
Right, right.
to
Because
be able to trigger
he
other
just
cards.
needs you to mill like one or two cards for to get the +2 +0 for the turn.
Exactly. So you only try to, do one, do two. If you get too crazy, maybe five in one turn to be able to do for the Blazing Sasaki, but that's only in the late game with other cards that you'll see. Um, then two Zalas.
Pretty
She's
standard.
very important, very, very standard. You always need a draw. And then she does allow you to be able to have an early transformation with a Zala Rage. So I do run two Zala Rage. Potentially could run three. That's very important to get those early transformations for the
Right, right.
Draconic Palace.
Especially since Dynamo is no longer in the format. So,
Exactly. So getting that early transformation not only gets the right Kiris off the hand of the opponent if they have it, but if they don't, then of course you cycle. And then you got three Helios. Very important. Aggro plays with Dragon Breath, so you can be able to snipe and then gain tempo. That's another transformation early on. That's another take for Sasaki, so you can be aggro. Um, and then Kamiko also converts to a leader, so that's kind of cool. And then I also run Blazing Sasaki. Stat wise and effect wise, he's not ludicrous, but I just utilize him as a heal and another trigger for transformation. It actually does get you out of pinches, and then late game, it does allow you with a Nadia full power to be able to trigger it later on. Of course, he's not valid, so just have that in mind. I ran two Nadias, regret it, but she's kind of decent, I guess. She's a good body, mostly. Out of nowhere on turn three, you either have a 5 leader and then basically a good effect to be able to get you one more extra Xens when you drop the Nadia full power. Ryu, super standard. I only ran two, unfortunately. Should have ran three. Did not look out for that. The ratios are off in the whole deck. I would have ran it very differently, but that's how we rolled. Um, two Nadia full powers. I find it standard. I would have taken the Nadias out for sure, but got the full powers in.
right.
She triggers placing Sasaki. That's great. Um, an underrated thing that a lot of people don't go for is actually picking up a fire card. You can pick up Fire Breath. You can pick Galil if out of nowhere you got your Sasaki hurt and then you want to transform him later on. You got a really strong dragon that basically is now just roaring around. He's discarding. He's buffing himself up. He converts himself to a 9. So Galil at 2, very standard on this deck.
Have you?
Um,
So I don't mean to interrupt. So, have you
mhm.
ever had come into a situation where you played Nadia full power and you had to pick up your Sasaki because you didn't have a Sasaki in play?
I did not a Sasaki. I did. I've done, and in the tournament, I got to pick up the Sasaki Blazing, um, to be able to heal up, and then I also did one Fire Breath to be able to pay off a Rubbish. So
Okay.
that's another one. This deck does really center out around being able to build a lot of fire to be able to play Rubbish because you get a lot of early tempo, and then Rubbish kind of just turns out that turn four for the opponent, so you get that extra turn. If you don't finish it by turn four, turn five, it's GG. So this deck is kind of like let's sit down, let's play quick, and let's take a break type of deck. It really wants to finish early, but at the same time, kind of breaks you apart. So you may take a long time with it.
So that right there is interesting pick. The Quetzal. I don't see many people playing the card.
I was trying something different, and I kind of regret him. He was weighing my hand more than anything, honestly. I just think that the two hand cost is too heavy. This deck particularly, I'm not saying that he's maybe not the greatest for every deck, but for this deck that kind of just gets a lot of off the board naturally because it's very aggro. I'm using rubbish, so he kind of triggers off the amount of dragons that you have on board. That being said, you're not trying to swing wide. Well, you are swinging wide early, but he comes out at turn 5, right? So at that point, you're not as wide anymore. You're either trying to shell or you're just trying to push for that last BR.
Now, do you use? Were you trying to use the Questo to re-trigger your Nadia full power?
Yes, basically. So that was the intent around it. And then if I needed to be able to heal her also because I was being aggro, that was the intent around it. Just as I use like transformations on this deck, outside of Draconic Palace, it's mainly to be able to heal your aggro plays and swinging wide. You're swinging with one character here, one character there, one character there. You're going to find yourself in the position where you're swinging with a Ryu, two Sasaki's with maybe a supporter in there, and they're just both fives because you triggered potentially a Tesseract, and then you can later on re-trigger Tesseract off your discard, which you'll later on see on the strategy portion of the deck.
Gotcha.
And yeah, the three Raikiris, that's super necessary on this deck, or any Dragon's deck for that
Oh
matter.
no, no three LRs.
Oh no, no, unfortunately, I only got one. I only got one. I wish.
Help,
I'm running on
anyone watching this video, help your boy Sergio to get his it's like his three LRs.
right. I'm missing it. It kind of looks a little bit off when they're not matching, but it is what it is. I got the three Tesseracts. I find that to be super necessary on this deck for sure. Um, I probably should have ran a little bit heavier on the strategies, considering that you are running Kamiko and you are wanting to retrigger her a lot off the Halil. So that's something I should have considered, but I went on the lower end because I only picked two Dragon Promise. Especially considering that I was running the higher end of the dragons, I could have taken more advantage of the Dragon Promise, but I was pushing him early on instead, and that was an error. Two overseers. I find it to be a really cool card. Sometimes it shoots you in the leg because it doesn't give you what you want when you roll it, but either way, it's still value. It comes a turn later than the promise, and it's still two draws with an extra effect. If you get the injure off, it'll really work out for you. So you get tempo. That's what you want. It's an injure that you can't really be negated. If they try to negate a overseer, that's why I guess that's good for me. Um, Rubbish, I rubbish at 3, 100%. I want to see that card 100% of the time. I need that, otherwise I get beat by turn 4. This deck does not want you to get past turn 4, so rubbish is necessary to see it at that point. Otherwise, you will kind of just fall behind.
Right, so
Little Devil.
you get stuck.
Hmm? Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Later on in the late game, you ran out of bodies. You don't really do too much. You run a little bit of utility on the abilities versus other decks that could be able to push better. But this is a little bit on the utility side, so you won't be able to do that as much. That's why I do run the little devil at 1 as per the format, um, and the transformation clash at 2 as per the format too. It's a really good card. You can re-trigger the Nadia if you really need a fire card once again to be able to get the rubbish off. If you need to re-trigger to be able to Halil to be able to get the Sasaki, or sometimes do plays where you can do a chum blocker, because if you pick out your leader and put him behind, you have a zero leader. Most of the time, you have a Halil. If you have a Halil in the front, he becomes a true
So
support
let
with a
me
chum blocker. Hmm.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever tried doing like Hilo transformation, like Hilo transformative clash into Nadia full power? Because you're able to swap two turns higher, right?
Yes, yes. So I didn't get the chance to be able to do it, but those were kind of the plays that I was looking into. I especially did it with it was who was it? I think it was Halil, and just a difference of one was actually what really picked off the fight. And I switched it to a Blazing Sasaki and put it in the front. Those are usually the kind of plays that I want to go for. Maybe
Nice.
I didn't get the chance to be able to do something as powerful as a Nadia because that would have been great. Picking out at a turn one, you could say, because you transform at turn one your Kamiko, and if you have a Nadia in your hand, oof. I mean, getting out a Nadia at that turn would be actually really nasty. So that's something that you have. You have utility. You have another heal sometimes. That's how I see a lot of these cards. It's I can be able to pick him up. He's injured, put him back down, retrigger Draconic Palace in the turn of the enemy, so you can cycle more. You can get more value out of the deck. So that's really good utility card. Draco Flame Swords. I run them at 2. It's a really good early game card. Maybe I would run at 3. It does trigger off. Another alternate version that I would have definitely ran of the deck is running the Petunias with the Centurions instead of running the Nadia base one, the one that's not full power and the
The super rare.
Quetzals.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So the Centurions and the Petunia package, right?
Correct. It would have switched out those so that way I can get everybody to be a weapon, every symbiote, when I do drop Centurion. On top of that, everybody does get that support buff, which makes your teams really, really formidable. Um, but it's just mainly to be able to have more weapons to be able to use the Draco Flame Swords later on. But early on, it's big menace. Sometimes you have. I was in a position where I had a Blazing Sasaki with a Sasaki below, and then 2 Sasakis in teams, and I pushed with 3, and the opponent really forced. I forced the opponent to not block because otherwise I would have Draco Flame Sword, and then get 4 battle
Right,
rewards
right,
for free.
right. Because then
And
the other ones become five combat beaters. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
exactly. So that's the type of value that you're looking for this deck. A lot of these cards, there are cards that will bring you more value, but this deck is just about getting enough value when you need it. So that's actually a great card. And another hand cost for rubbish. Um, Dragon Breath, I run it at 3. It's a very good card. It
Yeah,
beats tempo.
pretty standard.
Oh yeah. You pick it up with Halil, you pick it up with Ryu, and you can kill a target if it's casting something. Bygones be bygones, right? And then this is for the late game. This is if you unfortunately didn't win the game by turn 4, turn 5. This is what gets you the last BR, or if you kind of shell a little bit to be able to push for that last BR with Hydroelectric Fist. That's the idea behind that last card. Otherwise, then it just gets used as hand cost the grand majority of the time.
So, how did the event went for you? How do you how did you like the event? Was pros and cons? I guess I should be asking.
I really liked the event because I got to at least break down the ratio. I wasn't able to play test at all. So I was able to actually see what were the flaws with the current meta. I was able to see a lot of different decks, a lot of interesting things that kind of made me rethink. A lot of the times, what this deck does differently is that everybody just always tries to build up a team of one, and this deck really just abuses that by saying, "Well, I'll just swing wide and win by turn 3 because you're not defending, right? Maybe you're getting a little bit of value. You block one of mine, and then I transform him next turn, right?
So by
Um,
it punishes your opponent for organizing incorrectly.
Exactly. It makes you think if I have a blazing Sasaki, if I have a Sasaki and I'm being overly aggressive, then maybe he's coming back with a blazing Sasaki. So those are a lot of the things that the deck kind of tries to use against people, and main idea. I got to see how it worked, and I really liked it. The event was filled with really cool people. Um, I didn't get to put some of the cards in set three, so that's something that I would like to see how the deck runs. So for next event, you will see a better version of this deck for sure, or maybe something different. Maybe something different.
Well, we definitely look forward to it. I appreciate you for giving me your time and showing everyone this deck, your deck, and congratulations on coming in second place.
Thank you.
Maybe next time you come in first place.
Hopefully, hopefully. Let's see. We'll have to see about that.
Well, till next time, everybody. Everyone have a good night. Take care.